Afternoon, children. Okay, so we've been working on our My Perspective Unit 1 performance-based assessment. When did a challenge lead to a triumph? You're writing a nonfiction narrative, an autobiographical story about a time that you had a challenge and you overcame that challenge. You triumphed over it. So, again, we read Wagon Train Dusk way back. It seems like, in 2021, but it was actually early 2022, or, early in the year 2022. Shut up, Tyke. Yes, sir. So, I wrote a little essay for you myself to show you again a mentor essay to kind of help you. Now, granted, mine is kind of long. It's about 3.5, 4 pages. Yours does not have to be this way. I'm going to teach you next week how to properly put on a heading in a formal essay when we write in what's known as MLA form. You start with your name, your teacher's name, whatever class it is, and then the date it's due a certain way. I came up with the title of, hold on, Mrs. Schwartz is bothering me and not knowing that I'm recording a video. Okay, that's all right. She didn't know. I could have shut my door. So, and I titled mine. So again, you want to give yours a title, and you're going to double space your assignment. And I will talk to you about, I'm going to set up the double spacing for it. Again, one of the things that drives me loco en la cabeza is if you guys hit enter to double space and go to a new line because it'll mess up your formatting. We'll talk about that. Please do not do that. So here, let me show you. So I already set it up in double spacing. So if I were to select everything, if I were to make it single spacing, it would look like this. But see, if you go to this little arrow here and you go to double spacing, it'll space it automatically. I'm going to do that for you. And I'm going to set it up into Times New Roman. I'm going to set it up in the 12-point font. I'm going to do that for you next week. But I'm going to read my essay so you see what a mentor essay, as far as having a challenge and triumphing, overcoming that challenge, looks like. Toasted bagel. I've gone a long way around the world when it comes to buying my house. I would have loved to own Kingsley. Kingsley was a street I grew up on. I'm telling you the name of the street. I'm not telling you the name of the street I live on now. Remember, I'm Polish, but I'm not stupid. But, let's see right there, I have a little spelling error. That's kind of stupid of me. But I've taken the long road, but I've taken the road less traveled. And many roads have I had to traverse for me to own the house that I've lived in for 17 years and will die in. It's the darndest of circumstances. Grandma dying. Grandma leaving the house to Mom as inheritance. Mom selling that house to Aaron, my older brother, and me wanting to buy Kingsley from Aaron. I thought the buying and fixing of my forever coffin would be simple. I thought, and that's what I get for thinking, that renovating Kingsley would be easy. Ay, Dios mío, I have been wrong. So that, kiddos, is a hook. That's a beginning paragraph. That's an introduction. That's getting you into it. It's been over a year since renovating Kingsley. Aaron and I first ripped out carpet that looked like it came from a 1970s schoolhouse. Later on during the summer, I ripped out every baseboard in the house, marked where they went, if they didn't break, and had to be replaced, but I still marked them. So when I was done painting all the baseboards, which I did, and piled them in rooms they went in. The door jambs and windows were also painted at this time. Next, I went to demolish the kitchen. The kitchen is being remodeled, where the rest of the house is being renovated. Anyway, I ripped out the old steel cabinets, I destroyed the old fiberglass countertops, and I pried out as many baseboards as I could. There's still a couple of those left. I don't want to cut the gas line. Those baseboards are staying where they are until Gabriel blows his horn. There was a sense of accomplishment I had in all that I was achieving on Kingsley. I felt like a kindergartner who colored a kitty picture and wanted mom to put it on the fridge. I should probably make this a little bigger so you guys can see, huh? Yeah, there we go. Funny. I thought the tearing of the linoleum subfloor from the hardwood, oh, I do love that hardwood, would have murdered my knees and soul. The amount of blue words that came from me ripping out that floor from the hardwood. I had an anger like Vesuvius on Pompeii, but that did not break me. It was the paint. That, I thought, was going to be my Moby Dick. So that's me setting up, kiddos, the fact that, what's going on with my paint is the challenge, the conflict in working on my house. Side note, the brand new, I have a little error there. Brand new windows had been installed and the hardwood floors were going to be remodeled. The schedule for that remodel was coming up in a couple weeks. So I was determined to paint the master bedroom, the office, the exercise room, and the living room before the floors were done. And I found the color I wanted as well. Toasted bagel. I forgot the period. I went to Home Depot and bought 5 gallons, 4 in one type, and 1 in just a different type. The associate swore there would be no difference. I forgot to put that. See again. This is why sometimes, kids, you gotta read your writing before you do it. I need to put this in. I received a different gallon because I bought the last 4 of the ones I wanted. To home I went, determined as Holmes to catch Moriarty, to get those rooms painted before the hardwood work needed to be done. So for weeks, I cut the paint along the windows, doors, floor, and ceiling. Then the marriage of the purdy paint roller covers and the rollers themselves canvassed my walls for days. Eventually, I ran out of my 4 similar gallons of toasted bagel color and had to switch to my last gallon, the different base. The living room had 1 wall and a couple touch-up spots that need to be completed. Once done, I felt as proud as a male peacock trying to find a mate. I left Kingsley to prepare for a little time off. My brothers and I were going with some friends to a festival in Breckenridge, Colorado. Aaron asked that before we leave to go to Kingsley and turn the heat up so the air conditioner wasn't running constantly while no one was in the house. So I jotted over and turned the temperature up, and I marveled and viewed the masterpiece that was the painted walls. But something was amiss. Those areas where I had to open up the last gallon, those areas were a darker color than the rest of my house. I tried not to freak out like a screaming goat. I had to tell myself, maybe those areas just take longer to dry. Over the 3 days I vacationed on Breckenridge, while back in my mind, I forgot to put a period there, or a quotation mark. So for 3 days I vacationed in Breckenridge, while in the back of my mind a thought sat like a spider in the corner ceiling of a room. What if that color is not the same? I came back home and went to check the mail at Kingsley and turned the air conditioner down, and then I saw it. My different shade of color toasted bagel walls. I thought, well, I just wasted time. So after hours of ruminating like a cat waiting to kill its prey, I thought of a solution. This is me triumphing over my challenge, kiddos. I would prime those areas and repaint them, but this time with the paint that I'd used in the other areas of Kingsley. But to do so, but to do, bad comma. So Home Depot is going to rectify their error. My escape and I drove to Home Depot to return their mistake. At first they said, "We don't return paint." I proceeded to show them the difference is in my walls and told them that this error was of their birth, not mine. And if they did not remedy their error, that the other $3,000 to $4,000 of items I need to buy would be done at Lowe's, Harbor Freights, or other stores around Pueblo. Well, my blackmail and their realization of their error caused them to refund my paint and mix another gallon of the other ones I'd used earlier in my painting. Over the next few days, I spent 10 hours a day over at Kingsley, priming the discolored areas with white primer, letting it dry, and applying my correct base of tinted toasted bagel. After a couple days of letting it dry, Aaron and I washed the walls, and the paint came out better than before. Not perfect, but only because I know where the blemishes are. If you didn't know about the discolorations, you'd never know they were ever there. In the end, I learned not to have the quick temper of my father and the long temper of my mother. If I kept a cool head, I could figure out how to solve a problem, not blow up like 15 M80s tied together. Kingsley's still being worked on as of this writing. Baseboards are backed up. A window is cut between the kitchen and living room. The bathroom needs to be painted and the kitchen is still a mess, but the other rooms are a couple weeks away from having furniture staged in them. I have felt like Sisyphus pushing a boulder trying to get my home done. It's been a pain and a pleasure. But I wouldn't trade my bad knees and the emptying of my wallet to have it any other way. And that has made all the difference. Okay, kiddos. So that is kind of what your final copy should look like. Again, it needs to be double spaced, Times New Roman. I'm going to create a document in Schoolology. Like I said, yours doesn't need to be 3.5 pages. If it is, awesome. Again, it needs to be at least 5 paragraphs, which should be about 1.5 pages to 2 pages. As always, children, if you have any questions, please message me on Schoolology or please talk to me in class. Thank you very much, Pirates, and have a super sparkly day.